gonna stick like glue. Stick because
Ooh, I got a glue stick, a glue stick.
How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
No, we're good. Just trying to get over this whole Corona thing. Right now with Corona, everything's stopping. So, for us, we just really want to reconnect with everyone we've sort of had the pleasure of working with and just kind of catch up to see what they're doing, what are the plans ahead, and, sort of just also seeing, how was the experience for you guys in Hong Kong as well? It's just kind of like a casual conversation, but how have you been? Like, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I've just been, I kind of just locked myself in the studio, probably just writing music and working out. I think I told Nick about this a couple days ago or something, and I was doing tours for the past 2 years. Ever since we played in Hong Kong for you guys, we've been on the road nonstop. We'd have like months off, but then we'd have like another show maybe after 2 months or 3 months, and then like a full-on tour. And we kind of just like got off from our US tour last November. That was really fun, but that got me really big though. I gained about 20 pounds, and it was crazy. I didn't feel right. I was very sluggish, so I told myself, for next year, which is this year, we're gonna have to stop touring. We're gonna really have to stop going on the road, because it started getting a little unhealthy for all of us. We wanted to do our own thing, and I myself wanted to do my own thing, and I want to get back in the studio. So that's exactly what I did. I kept in touch with guys like Boom, and with everyone else I met like over the past 2 years, I think. But right now I've just been in the studio, just working on some music, some very slow but good progress. Working out a lot, that's for sure. Just going out. I mean, right before the lockdown started, just been hanging out with some friends and stuff, just like taking life one step at a time. So, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about like, what's in the works right now? Like, with 2020, obviously plans are moving, but like, what do you have in mind right now? Like, what's going to come out for you soon?
Well, I was planning on actually doing some music videos for this year, because weirdly, I have no music video in my in my resume. So I know it's like something that's kind of lacking, and it's kind of like a chip on my shoulder. But I was supposed to shoot some videos for this year, but because of this whole Corona thing, I'm not sure if that's even feasible. So I wanted to do some music videos for new and old songs. But the main thing for me this year was just to write music for an album, or just write music for a record, whatever. I just felt as if like I haven't really released anything serious in a long time, probably a year or two. So I also got really tired from touring. I didn't want to play dancing like 20 more times. It's a great experience. I like seeing people connect, and I like seeing people appreciate my stuff, and vice versa, appreciate the support. But it just got redundant after a while, so I think I gotta take a break from that. And you know how some people get cabin fever from staying inside for too long? I guess I had the same thing when I was on the road. Like I was kind of going nuts. I wasn't like throwing fits or anything, but I think I just felt very cramped, like in my head. I was like, man, like it's nice being on stage, but what's next for me now? So this year I just cut off like all tours and stuff, opportunities. I think I accepted one show. I was supposed to play a show in Thailand with who was headlining? It was Joji, Nikki, Bruno Major, and a couple of other really good acts. But because of the whole Corona thing, I think it got postponed. So I'm not sure when we're playing for that festival. but that was the only one I took out of all the other offers that were sent to my doorstep. But for now, yeah, it's just really writing music. I hope I get to shoot a music video this year if it's not too bad outside. Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of people right now, doing business with people from the industry left and right. So, yeah, I can't really speak too much about that.
What was the thought process of like not releasing any videos until like potentially now?
Well, when I started making music, generally, I just don't like music videos. I am not. I don't know. I like listening to music without having any visuals. But if I wanted to have visuals for my music, as pretentious as it may sound, I'm extremely meticulous with what I want. If that makes any sense. So a lot of people emailed me, tried asking me if I wanted to work with them, collaborate, and shoot a music video for some of my songs. And I really appreciate the opportunities given to me, but I guess I just don't vibe with the direction that they were giving to me. So not until I met someone last year, became a really good friend of mine, and he's actually doing a lot of really good music videos here in the local scene. His name's Dom Beckert, and he has a team called Zupraxi Studios. He does it with his, I'm not sure if they're married, but yeah, with Clem and one of my bandmates, Sean. And when I watched one of his videos, I was like, wow, like, this guy is weird as fuck. Sorry, am I allowed to swear here?
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry. Yeah. This guy's weird as fuck, and I love it, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes I like seeing things that don't make sense, and this guy gets it. So then I was inclined, you know, maybe it will work if I work with this guy instead. And, you know, I met up with him, he lives near me, we vibe, and you know, I think we got some plans ahead. I told them I wanted to do something this year. But for the most part, I just didn't feel like a music video was necessary until like I realized that, wow, all these other artists are dropping music videos left and right. And I'm sorry for like a really strong opinion, but some of them, I don't know, like it's a YouTube algorithm thing. Like, yeah, you're gonna post a music video, but it's just not good. I don't know like how to say it properly, but it's just, yeah, you know, like you're trying to couple your song with some visuals, but it either makes sense or it doesn't make sense. But if it doesn't make sense, at least make it look good. I've seen a lot of people who drop music videos and it's like, oh man, like I can't watch this.
Yeah.
And they're kind of only doing it for promotion. And for me, it goes beyond that. If I wanted to make a music video, I wanted to make it great. I wanted to make it good. Not just for, you know, promoting my album, not just to promote myself. I want it as, I don't know, like something that if I were to look back 15 years from now, I'd be like, wow, I'm still proud that I made this video. Of course, like that's a long shot. You know, it's really difficult to create the perfect music video.
Yeah.
Just like creating the perfect kind of song or perfect art. But at least I'm trying to be as in control as possible with the content that's coupled with my music. So yeah, take it as is, man.
Do you have any sort of music videos that you've grown up with, or that you've like, you know, like that you recently found that you think are kind of within the direction or like kind of the vision of where you want to be? Like any artists that you can highlight?
I think, okay. Let me just go on YouTube real quick. There's this one thing I watched a couple of years ago. The Fat White Family. That's it. I'll send you the music video. But yeah, I watched this a couple of years ago. It was just some random video I came across, and I was like, wow, I like this.
In this sort of process of like creating like a music video, like how do you like to be involved, like, or how are you currently involved in the process?
Well, I want to be working with someone who actually knows how this works, because I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not a director or anything. I know people who do that, but I have certain visions or visual aspects that I want realized.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be 100% in control, because that just doesn't make any sense. I'm not the director. I'm not a director. I'm an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I want to be able to tell the person I'm working with, okay, this is what I want, and I trust you that you'd be able to create something with your imagination, and we both dig what comes after it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think it also comes down to trusting the people you work with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as with anything, you guys should know that too. You got to trust the people you work with. So, yeah.
We also want to kind of recap a bit about your experience in Hong Kong with us, because we want to tell people, like what was your perspective in, performing for Hong Kong, and also coming over, for the first time as well.
I owe a lot to that show, man, and especially to you guys. You guys really treated us well. That was one of the best experiences in my life.
Thank you.
To give a background about that show, thank you. That was just I'm not sure if I told you guys, I said this before, but that was my second live show ever,
Really?
as a band.
Oh, wow.
So it was a lot of pressure for me, because I wasn't new to performing live. I had another band for years,
Right.
but I never really, I didn't want to bring my own project into a live setting.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that it wouldn't be, I just thought it wouldn't be feasible, and I don't know, I was just too, I was too shy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after our first show here in Manila, it was a really small show in Quezon City. You guys, I think, contacted us, and you guys were asking if we could play in Hong Kong. And I was like, how are we gonna do this? Like, is this for real? Are these guys? I wasn't so sure what was going on. I honestly thought that, okay, are we being scammed here? Because we've never had any international experience whatsoever. We've never had any real big festival experience. Not even when I was performing with my old band. But I was like, you know what? I gotta take this risk, man. Like, it's go big or go home.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's do it. Whatever happens, happens, man. If I fail, I fail. At least I tried. So when we were there, it was really nice. Did a bunch of interviews with your boys. I think, if I remember correctly, Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. And what's her name? Tina. I'm not sure I know I was talking to a lady. I think her name was Tina. But yeah, and also Tiffany, right?
Oh, yeah,
she was cool.
Yeah.
But the experience was amazing, because it was our first international show, and because of Hong Kong, I was able to get more opportunities abroad, and that kind of jump-started everything for me.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd was just unreal. They were just so supportive,
Yeah.
I've played for dead crowds, and I've played for very lively crowds, but I could never forget Hong Kong, because they had this weird, unreal appreciation for the artist that was just right in front of them. They weren't just there to listen to the most famous songs. They were there to listen to the songs that that are kind of slept on, at least for my standards.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? This may or may not be my last live show. I might as well dive. We were just joking about it probably an hour before. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to do it. That's just, that's just going way overboard. But I was like, fuck it, like, let's just do it, man. These people are gonna catch me. If they don't, then they don't. We're gonna spend a week in the Hong Kong hospital, man. We're gonna do it. So, yeah, that was the highlight. That was fantastic. I really appreciated everything, everybody, fans, you guys, Pomin's team. Everybody. It was just it was an amazing experience. Probably the only thing I would not like to remember was just sleeping in a very cramped motel. Yeah, but that's okay because I had some good bonding time with my drummer. So it was really cool because I did things 3 in 1. I took a shit and I was taking a shower, and I was brushing my teeth at the same time in that hotel. I was like, wow, like this is efficient, man. This is fast. I never experienced that before.
It's
but yeah,
Hong Kong efficiency, man. But yeah, like that was our second show ever as well. So we wanted to thank you guys for believing in us as well. Like we just came off our first show like a few months before, and we were like, hey, like. We wanted to piece together like something that was really highlighting talent around the area. So like it was like actually Nick he was like he's been listening to you guys for quite a while. So hey, like probably kind of reach out and like fuck it, like we'll see what happens to see if they reply. And then like you replied and we're like, oh yeah, like we're like getting really like riled up, because like it was hot off like our first show, and we were like, okay, like how do we kind of piece like a bigger lineup together this time, bringing 2 like acts who are flying into Hong Kong. So yeah, like thank you so much for believing in us as well. It was like, I mean, even to date, like, I mean, that was like one of the best shows, for both of us as well, because it was just because everything was so new. It was like, but the crowd was so crazy that night. Your stage dive, we still use it in our socials. It's still doing really well. It's one of our key moments for sure.
Yeah. Have you done any more stage dives in your other shows since?
No.
Really?
I kind of save if I were to do it, I kind of, I'm kind of saving it for a more special or / bigger show. I've seen crowds where, it would be possible to jump, but you know what? I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
It's just weird. I just want to keep it at that. The one time I did stage dive, it's the first international show I had, and it's in Hong Kong. So that I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And it was a successful dive too, so it was perfect for me. It was really good. Yeah. If I were to dive again, I don't know. We've been performing for 2 years, and unfortunately, it's kind of numbed me out. Where especially when we were doing our States trip.
Yeah.
We were playing shows almost every night, and I know it's a normal thing. It was our first time to actually do it, but it's actually different when you tour in America, or at least in the Western country, as compared to touring in Asia. Because we toured in Asia, and the one thing I love about touring in Asia is that they spoil you. Like you guys spoiled us, and Indonesia spoiled us, and Japan and Korea and Taiwan and Singapore. They gave everything that we wanted, like from our backline, our tech writer, to packs of cigarettes for my bandmates, and water and beer and whatever food, bring you everywhere, show the culture. And it's just a cultural experience. Touring in Asia, for me at least, is more of a cultural experience rather than a business trip.
Right.
And that's what's amazing about it. In the States, it's a different experience. It's also a cultural experience, but it's very hectic, It teaches you a lot of things. Well, for one, like we had to rent our own equipment out of my pocket. So we had, if you guys didn't know that, at least for our, setup, and for most bands that I did speak to when it comes to touring in the United States, you had to rent your own drum set, your own van, your own amps, your own everything. Probably just except the mics and the PA systems, just like they probably, the venue would provide for that.
Right.
But if you're coming from another country, you're gonna have to rent all these things: amplifiers, cables, or if not, at least just amplifiers, a drum set, probably keyboard stands, audio interfaces if you don't bring your own. So it was super hectic because it was a little expensive for me.
That's pretty hefty actually for.
Yeah. And it was the first quote they gave me was I think about $6,000 just to rent the equipment for like a 25-day tour.
Oh wow.
And I had to make sure that okay, like we probably don't need a bass amp because Toby has a DI. We probably don't need this and this and that. So we had to bring it down, and that's the first thing. And the second, if you don't have a roadie, you're gonna have to bring everything down on your own. So you bring your amp down, plug it in, set up by yourself, everything. It's super hectic, but it was really fun. Super tiring, but it was really fun. But that really numbed me out, Playing in a different city each time, and the response would be different each time. But for the most part, it's positive. But I think what really got me messed up was just bringing down amps like each night, and the drum set as well. That was super heavy. I think it fucked my back up. As soon as I got home in the Philippines, I was having back problems. I had it checked, and I might have like a mild slip disc because of it.
Oh, wow.
So I got to do some more back workouts. But yeah, it was that's how it is. I mean, at least for us, like that was the experience. It was great, but it numbed me out. So that was like the boiling point for me. I was like, you know what? Like I love playing shows, but we gotta stop it. So yeah, Hong Kong was fun though, man. Like that was crazy. The food was great. Everything was great. Like a show to remember, man. Yeah.
How would you say your U.S. fans and your Asian fans are like similar or different?
No, they're very different. They're very different. There are some Asian countries where the response is different from, for example, I think we played in Singapore. That was our first show in my first Asia tour, right? Yeah. They were a little bit more loose. They were kind of rowdy, multicultural, really great fans, really great people, very informal, just super chill, super fun to hang out with. And then we played in Taiwan, Korea, and then Japan. Equally great fans, but they listen to your music as if they're watching a movie sometimes. But in a good way, like they kind of just like listen to it, like, yeah, like wow. After a song, they'd be like, yeah, and then they stop. Yeah. And nobody's talking to anybody while you're performing. Right. And I think that's really good because they're very respectful. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was a very respectful thing. They kind of just like listened in. They were tuning in, and it wasn't any bullshit because like after the set, they just like want to hang out. They want to they have this thing when they bow and stuff. That's really nice. Some Asian countries a little more loose and chill. Kind of like Hong Kong and Singapore, Indonesia. They have they're very fun crowds. Right. And Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan, they have more respectful crowds. Mm-hmm. But in the U.S., I mean, you know how Americans act, man. Like they're rowdy, and they're when they support you, they will support you. I think there was this one show. They're like, Mellow, if you sign my shirt, I'll suck your dick, man. And I was like, okay, this is my crowd, man. Like, yeah, nah, I won't let you suck my dick, but I'll sign your shirt. Yeah. When they support you, they'll show it in a very high intense level. I don't know. It's cool. It's very nice. Yeah. But what I do like about the shows I've played so far, the fans that I've played for are 95% non-toxic fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard some of my friends, they've played in crowds where it's either dead or they're just massively toxic. And, you know, as an artist, you gotta be a professional about it, but come on, sometimes you just want to play for people who want to have fun and not, you know, cause a lot of ruckus. So,
You know, any other crazy stories you can tell us?
well, in Hong Kong, the first thing that I could remember while I was in the crowd surfing, I think I said this, I think 3 white kids grabbed my nuts. And they were like, oh man, I grabbed this nuts, I grabbed those nuts. And I was like, oh, damn. And then what was crazy was that they added me on Facebook, like, the next morning. I was like, oh, these kids, they're British. Anyway, when after Hong Kong, we played in Lokatara Fest in Indonesia.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've heard, but yeah, Lokatara Fest, you know, they had like some sort of bad stuff that happened like last year. But for that year in particular, that was a fun show because it was the first time I experienced that. Whoa, this is how it feels like, you know, to actually be flown out and be treated like, I don't know, like it's just weird because they gave me an entire suite.
Oh,
And I was like, whoa, man, like look at this view, like I have a fucking bathtub, man. That was crazy. It was nice. I met really cool people. I met Pablo. I met the boys from Rice Wine. We kept in touch. Young Heezy and a couple more acts. Very, very good Indonesian acts. But what was nice was that before I got on stage for my set, that was like, I think we played for about 4,000 people in like one ballroom, I think. And before I stepped on stage, they were already singing my songs.
Oh, wow.
And that was just a highlight for me. I was like, whoa, like I wouldn't have guessed that this would ever happen in my life. You know, it was crazy. It was nice. Not my proudest set, but you know, I mean, if you're playing for 4,000 people on your 3rd ever show, that's I was nervous as fuck. Yeah, and imagine because like I had one of my guitarists play a keyboard for a specific song. And this dude has never played keyboard live in his entire life.
Yeah.
So if you go check one of the videos like on YouTube, he was sweating balls, man. Like, he was so fucking nervous. Like you could see him shaking. He didn't mess up, so that's a good thing.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, the lows would have to be, well, I'm not afraid to admit I was fighting depression for a good bit of 2018 and 2019.
Right.
It's, you know, just existential stuff, you know, like what am I actually doing right now, you know?
Right.
What's going on with my career? I don't know. It's just some, you know, 23-year-old stuff.
Right.
And I guess I was also overwhelmed with what was going on in my life. You know, I wasn't so used to having people, you know, come up to me asking to take pictures and stuff or autographs or being flown out to a different country just to, you know, play your stupid songs. Like it was so overwhelming. And when I got to sit down with myself, you know, I couldn't figure it out. Like why is this happening to me?
Right.
I don't know if things are supposed to be going right, and when they would go wrong, everything is wrong.
Right.
But yeah, we did the Asia tour. That was a pretty nice tour, but that was a really tiring one because, you know, we would fly in and out almost every day as well, and we would barely get any sleep. And it was just really tiring. And I guess what sucked about that was I didn't like the fact that I would play amazing. We would play amazing first 2 or 3 shows, and then for the last few shows, you know, we were kind of just drained. We kind of just wanted to get out, and I felt as if, like, man, the fans don't deserve that. You know, they deserve, like, all of us full energy. Right. But this is how it works in the industry. You know, this is how it works when you're touring. You kind of just have to like keep that energy each show. I mean, that's why you're getting paid to do that. You don't want to cheat them out of their money. But if you're feeling physically and mentally tired, it's so hard to pretend that you're okay sometimes. So I think I was doing this show in South Korea, in this province called Busan.
Right.
Yeah, we played a small show, and I was just tired, man. And it wasn't our biggest show, but I was incredibly tired. And my dad was filming the whole thing, and he was like, "Man, this is actually the most tired I've ever seen you."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think we're gonna have to take a break soon.
Right.
So that was, it was a low for me, and we did Japan, and that was a high point because Japan crowds are really great. Their tech teams are really great.
Yeah.
Equipment's amazing. Accommodation's amazing. But I think the one thing I would have to say about Japan is that we actually had this like 1 week extension with my entire band, and we booked a B&B somewhere in Shinjuku, and we just we shopped, we had some fun in Japan, and it was like the first time I was actually with my friends without any guidance from any elders or any tour managers or anything, and we were just having fun, and we roamed around Japan for an entire week, and that was such a great experience. Just again, it's just a cultural experience basically, and a huge shopping trip as well. But yeah, I brought home like 2 synthesizers, and that was a bitch to carry.
Yeah.
In Japan, you if you're a musician and you go to Japan, you'll never see the end of it. So you're like, okay, let's indulge. Right after that, I fell into this like super deep depression again. Same thing, same bad thoughts. And my dad was like, "Why don't you go to the States? You go see your grandma." Because my grandma, she's getting a little older, she's getting a bit sick.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a perfect time for me to actually fly out and probably take a break and do nothing for a while. And I went to Sacramento, saw my grandparents, my family, my cousins from Australia came by as well.
Yeah.
It was like this kind of like it was like a rehab thing for me.
Yeah.
And since then, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe life isn't as bad. I don't want to get too in detail about like what was going on in my head, but let's just say that it really helped. Like my trip to the States really helped. And at the same time, I was really stoked because my then manager was saying that, hey, you might actually get booked for a US tour. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, that's great. And then as soon as we got back, we started prepping ourselves. I was like, guys, we got to do this. Let's make this right. The most hectic part about the US tour at that time was the documentation and just applying for your visas, your work visas, etc. And also making sure that you guys are all free. Because some of my bandmates were still in school. Some of them had work.
Yeah.
And they don't actually play music, perform with me for a living. It's kind of like a side thing for them. Right. So I had to make sure that, are you down for this? Right. And at the same time, I had to, shell out some money for their visas and stuff. I had to make sure, like, we have lawyers to help us get stuff done. But yeah, we practiced. We got booked for Tropicalia. That was a really good festival. Yeah. Met a lot of people. Really nice. The most stressful part about the US tour was, it's not about bringing stuff down. It was more of dealing with my ex-management.
Right.
I don't want to drop any names, but it just was not, let's just say like expectations weren't met, and it did cost me some money. we weren't on the same page.
Right.
And the US tour was really good, but like post US tour, we had some problems, and that was really stressful as well. Going through some legal stuff, making sure everybody gets paid. Then the dirty part about touring and playing live is actually more stressful than actually playing live, being on stage. My bandmates don't have to worry about anything, but like as for me, I gotta worry about like how I do on stage because the spotlight is on me, and I also have to worry what's behind the scenes. Like, are we gonna get paid? Are my bandmates gonna get paid? How are we gonna get fed? How are we gonna pay the tax? All these things I have to worry about, aside from being able to play properly on stage and making sure that the fans enjoy.
Right.
I think that really got to me. That was like a low point. I was like, man, this is enjoyable, but the business side of touring, when you don't have like a proper team or management that's actually doing this for you, it could get really toxic.
Yeah.
It could get really stressful. So I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this in the first place? I enjoy recording music a lot, and I'd much rather do that than flying in and out, doing tours and stuff. If it's not healthy for me, if it's not healthy for my bandmates, if it's not healthy for my team as a whole. And I thought that, okay, touring can wait. This can happen again. We can have fun again if we get our shit together first, write the material, and also give the fans like some new songs to listen to, rather than just having to be touring, for 5 years straight playing the same song. I mean, that's boring for me.
Yeah.
That could be boring for you, for everybody else. So, I guess touring had its amazing highs and like really rock bottom lows, but do I regret anything? No. It's an experience that I'd never trade for anything.
Right.
I learned a lot of things from touring. I learned a lot of harsh realities about. I don't want to put this as like I don't want to play the race card, but it's hard as an Asian artist. It's hard to actually get out there. It's hard to climb the ladder, or it's hard to actually get a bit more respect if you're Asian, especially if you're coming from a country that is not exactly, we don't have a lot of internationally known artists as like full-blooded Filipinos, and that's a shame because I'm sure in Hong Kong, Philippines, and all Asian countries we have some really good talent that we want to show the world to. But it's just difficult. At least for my experience, it's difficult being a pure-blooded Asian that's not raised in a Western country like in the UK or in America. But that's part of the challenge for me. And I honestly just embraced it. And I was like, you know what? Like, if it's going to make it harder for me, then so be it. Let's do it, man. I don't want to complain about it. But it's all I'm saying is that that's the reality of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you think is next for, Asian talent right now? Like, I guess like, Asian talent based in Asia versus Asian talent based in North America. Like, how do you see like a difference there? And also like, as for yourself, like how, like, what do you think is the next step into sort of breaking through to like a larger crowd? Yeah.
Well, I actually had a conversation with a good friend of mine. If you guys know Michael Sayer, he's a Filipino who was raised in the States. Really good guy, really talented musician. Love that guy. He visited the Philippines for Christmas last year, and we hung out in the studio. Jammed a bit and stuff, and we were talking about like, Asians and the minority actually, going into the international scene. And I think what's going on right now, if you guys have noticed, is that I think in the States, especially in the West Coast, Latinos are actually a big part of it now.
Right.
I'm not so well acquainted with Latin music, but the cultures are being melted together a lot more in this day and age. And I think it's only a matter of time for Asian artists to actually, really have that big impact on it. But when you say Asian, there's plenty of there's a lot of things to consider. We have K-pop, we have J-pop, and these are genres that are taking international stages in an extreme scale. But I'm not sure when it comes to like indie music or alternative music. I think it's just a matter of time. I think it'll take a couple of years, but I think we're on the right track. I'm sure you guys have heard of 88 Rising. They're doing a really good job at keeping really good Asian artists relevant, and I know a couple of labels who are very interested with some of my Asian friends. Giving them opportunities to blow up and stuff. I think it's a good time for music now in terms of diversity. So it's just a matter of time. That's just really it for me. Because we got the talent. Like everybody that I know, most of Asian artists that I actually really respect, like they have what it takes to actually make a difference in the music scene, regardless if it's in the West or the East or wherever. And I'm really happy about that. Thank God for the internet as well.
Yeah.
So
I guess that brings us to like one of our last questions we want to ask you. Actually, I know you kind of touched on it a bit at the start of the conversation as well. But what's next for you? How what are the plans for 2020 right now?
Well, progress has been good, but it's been slow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just like easing myself into it again, But yeah, I don't know. Like, should I send you guys like whatever I'm working on? Because I don't know. I've just been writing music. That's it. I guess I've been reading a lot more. In terms of philosophy and stuff. Changing my metric of success or failure, or changing my values into being a better person, I guess. Because, like I said, the past 2 years of touring really changed like my outlook. I'm not afraid to admit that, like, when I was so overwhelmed with everything, I felt as if like my head was kind of getting inflated. I was being dictated by ego left and right. And that wasn't a good thing, because my values for success at that time were, I gotta make more money, I gotta have a bigger following, I gotta have more influence, I gotta get all the likes and get all the comments and stuff. And then I realized that was a big source of anxiety and pressure. And I was like, you know what, why am I doing music in the first place? I'm not doing this to become famous. I'm not doing this to become successful. Successful in the sense that, this is going to earn me $1 million pesos or $1 million. No. I was doing this because I loved doing it. And past tense, loved. And I'm learning how to love it again, in the sense that I get to make music because it's my passion, man. Like this is what I loved doing when I was in college, when I was in high school. I never expected to even be talking to you guys. I never expected to even just be, playing in Hong Kong, Indonesia, or the States or anything. This is something that I love doing. And regardless if my future music makes it or it doesn't, what's important for me is that, that song, the song that I just wrote right now, that sounds really good. And if I'm happy with that, that's what makes me happy. It might be different for others. Their philosophy with music and success might be different. But for me, what's important is that I'm happy with what I'm doing and I'm not stressed out with making music. That's the bottom line. So, yeah, this year, I guess it's just wellness, well-being, mental and physical well-being. And just easing in, writing new stuff. I think I've learned a lot. I've been studying a lot of music theory for the past 3 years, and I think I did up my game a little bit in terms of that. So, yeah, hopefully I get to release something this year. But if not, well, it's all well and good because I'm working on something else. Life is not just about music for me. Life is so many other things. But yeah.
Yeah, no, like we're like, you know, we've been ever since like connecting with you since you come to Hong Kong, like, you know, we've also been following your journey, and it's been amazing, man. You've had an amazing run, and you know, we hope like you know continue to move forward in like all different aspects as well, like, you know, not just music but in the wellness and also like as you know like your whole well-being in general. So yeah, like we're like thank you so much for sharing like everything with us today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be talking to you guys. You guys are doing so well as well with GlueStick, with the shows that you guys have been putting up, curating. The lineups have been so cool. I mean, I wish I could just fly to Hong Kong sometimes and just watch. I don't know. When you guys brought in Snail Mail, I was like, ooh, like that's cool. You know, right before she was about to blow up, I was like, man, these guys know. Like, you guys are way ahead. So that's really nice. Thank you again for having me here, and you know, good luck to you guys. And stay safe, stay healthy. Drinking lots of water and stuff. You know, stay safe, man. Like it's a crazy world out there.
Yeah. You too, man.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
See you soon.
See you, man.
Ooh, I got a glue stick.